The news that is closing on the Khazarian mafia and the Rothschild family nexus controlling it is getting tighter. Having missed one deadline to meet with a representative of the White Dragon Society, a representative of Baron Jacob Nathaniel Rothschild is supposed to meet with the messenger from the White Dragon Society tomorrow in the U.S. If the Rothschild miss this meeting or fail to reach an agreement in principle, open season will be declared on that entire genocidal family group White Dragon Society, Nazi Illuminati, and other allied groups promise. Also, the official bankruptcy on May 2, 2016 of the United States of America Corporation has triggered high-level negotiations between the U.S. and Chinese authorities this week. In Beijing, a high-level economic and diplomatic exchange is concluding on Tuesday. The economic discussions center on what parts of the American economic infrastructure the Chinese will be allowed to buy up, with the U.S. threatening to close its markets to China as it means bargaining card to prevent a total Chinese takeover of the U.S. economy. The other relating topic of discussion will be exactly how much of their U.S. Treasury holdings the Chinese will be forced to write off. Needless to say, the Chinese will be asking for full payment in form of U.S. real estate, factories, and other assets, while the Americans will be asking the Chinese to take as big a haircut as possible. As a preface to this meeting, there was a Shangri-La Dialogue, a high-level 3-day regional security conference in Singapore that ended Tuesday, June the 5th. The military discussions there boiled down to U.S. trying to gather as many allies as possible under its wings on Chinese borders, while the Chinese are saying they are already friendly with their neighbors, so the U.S. military have no choice but to work with China for a win-win solution. There was also an interesting James Bond-type sideshow, the security conference. Conflicting news reports coming out the Indonesian agree a helicopter crashes there. Early report says only the pilot was killed and the 3 passengers were only slightly injured. However, later reports indicate the others died on the way to the hospital. CIA agents in Indonesia say the helicopter was taken down by an unknown device, probably an EMF weapon, and the surviving passengers were shot. The helicopter had delivered to Singapore 300 kilos of gold from a secret gold mine run by Henry Kissinger, a Rockefeller faction of the Khazarian Mafia's Freeport-McMoran Mining Corporation operations in Indonesia. It was returning with about $100 million worth of 1,000 Singapore dollar bills when it was taken down. The money, which was backed by the 50 Halliburton aluminum containers, is now missing. Since the gold came from a Khazarian mafia-controlled mine and the payment was stolen, it is very safe to assume that an anti-Khazarian outfit took the money. The message seems to be that the gold deals involving Asian gold have to go through the appropriate channels. In any case, despite the bluster between China and the U.S. about the South China Seas and the intrigue beneath the surface, a broad agreement is being reached between the U.S. and the Chinese sides. As a part of this deal, U.S. banks have been given access codes to the new Chinese-built CIPS International Financial Settlement System, Pentagon sources say. This will lead to a global currency reset as well as the bankruptcy of Deutsche Bank, the sources say. This move are part of an ongoing campaign to finish off the Nazi faction of the Khazarian mob. Multiple sources agree. The Panama Papers leaks and the shutting down of offshore tax havens has already dealt a huge blow to them. The campaign to shut off their drug money has also taken a big new turn with the closure of most major amphetamines factories in North Korea, Japanese military intelligence sources say. Now, former CIA Deputy Director Mike Morrell has admitted on MSNBC TV that the war on Iraq was based on lies. Those of us who get our news from real sources have known this for years. What's important, though, is that it was said on corporate-controlled media. What this means is that other corporate media quote it and it becomes part of the official public view. By becoming official, it opens the way for prosecution for war crimes of the entire Bush or Nazi Kabul. The Nazis feeling the heat and in a full-tide attempt to forestall prosecution of 11 September, suicide the former CEO of Zurich because killing the chief financial officer was not enough, according to Pentagon sources. You can be sure insurance fraud investigations are closing in on Larry Pullitt Severson and his gangsters buddies. CIA sources say many Khazarian mafiosi have already fled to Patagonia in southern Argentina. One CIA source who was recently in Patagonia says he met Richard Rockefeller there. Richard Rockefeller, the former head of Medicine Sans Frontiers and son of David Rockefeller, supposedly died in a plane crash in June 2014. If the source is correct, it now appears he faked his death in order to be able to escape to Argentina. However, it's not clear if Argentina will be the same safe haven for Nazis as it was before the World War II. Argentine President and Nazi stooge Mauricio Macri had heart problems recently after meeting reporters. This was probably a message to the Nazis that there would be no escape to Argentina this time. Top Khazarian mafiosi Benjamin Netanyahu have been asking for protection from Russia's Vladimir Putin, but will not be getting it, Russian sources say. The Khazarian mafiosi still in the US are circling the wagons around Hillary Clinton and hoping against hope she will still be able to use election fraud, murder, bribes, and lies in order to become president. However, Pentagon sources are now saying Hillary may be taken down after the California primary with the Clinton Foundation busts for massive disaster relief charity fraud in Haiti, Africa, India, in the wake of after the tsunami of 2004. If there is justice in this world, Clinton will also face charges of mass murder. The Khazarians also think they have another card up their sleeve in the form of Vice President Joe Biden, who they hope to run as Democratic candidate in the event Clinton is arrested. Biden's no squeaky clean hero. His son was involved in oil explorations and fracking in the Ukraine immediately after the Nazi coup there. It's a safe bet to say that a Biden presidency would mean continued Rothschild control minus the worst Nazis. It is preferable to the Khazarians than Republican candidate Donald Trump, who is pushing for real change and mass arrest of the criminals who infest New York, Washington, D.C., and other U.S. power centers. Trump is now studying foreign affairs 3 hours per day in order to prepare himself for the job of renegotiating the international role of the U.S., sources close to Trump say. Hopefully, he's also fully informed about the fraudulent Federal Reserve Board. He also needs to look into getting either Asian gold or American silver to back a new currency he would inevitably have to issue. The Rothschild and the non-Nazi faction of the Khazarian Mafia are saying people like Trump and the Chinese are trying to overthrow the current world leader. This is a sneaky way of trying to associate them with the highly discredited Nazi New World Order, while the plans for a fascist New World Order government inaugurated with the death of 90% of the world's population have been stopped. This does not meet the current world order, should continue as it. This order has presided over a system of fraudulently private-owned central banks that have systematically looted the planet of its resources and caused mass extinction on a scale not seen since the end of dinosaurs 65 million years ago. This fraudulent system has also led such a concentrations of wealth that 62 individuals have a greater net worth than the poorest 3.5 billion people on this planet. It is time to fundamentally change how we run this planet. The way to do this is to take the process of deciding what we do in the future out of the hands of privately owned central banks and into the hands of the people. The people and living creatures of this planet are running out of patience. The time for talk is over. The time for action has begun. The White Drucker Society promises to end poverty and stop environmental destruction within a matter of months if it's given the opportunity to do so. Having done that, it will establish transparent, meritocratic, and democratic institutions to ensure good governance for the people and living creatures of this planet. Following this, it will retire into the background where it will be lie ready to intervene again should civilization ever experience another crisis like the one we are going through now.